Hey everybody, welcome to the start of a brand new series. And that's right, all the mods 10 to the sky. Oh, I've been excited to try this and I cannot wait to jump in. I've been watching everybody else play this, especially in the beta, and I've seen a couple of the release plays. So I'm excited for this and let's jump into it. All right. So we are at the world creation screen, and funny enough, I'm actually doing this on my lunch to try and get this going so that I could actually put this episode out on time. This is still going to follow my structure of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So this will be in addition to the other series that I'm running. I'm not sure exactly what day I'll be putting this out on, or I may even add this to my weekly, one of my off days, like either one day out of the weekend or possibly during either Tuesday or Thursday. I'm not sure. I haven't figured that out yet. What I do know is I want to get this first episode going. So let's go ahead and name the world. And what we will do is KryptxPlayz to the sky. And then also, just as everyone also suggests, let's put this in as our seed. All right. Now for this, I'm going to keep commands off. I'm not going to enable the cheats. However, if we do run into any issues, because this is an early release, there will be some things that need to be tweaked. This pack just came out today. So just to make sure, if anything does happen, I will go in and I will fix it. And don't worry, I will let you know what all I have done when I enable the commands later on, if it even comes to that. For what I've seen so far, this is pretty well put together, and I don't think we'll have very much issues. So let's go ahead and make sure everything here is looking good. Survival, normal, perfect. Let's jump into it. All right. Oh, yes, this looks beautiful. Oh my god. Okay. So I don't know if they have done anything different in the sense of all the mods 9, where they had some stuff that you would be able to take ahead of time. I haven't seen anybody kind of do that, and compared to the early releases that everybody was playing and the full release, this area has definitely changed. Now I do see there are some crates, and of course the message. Looks like moss blocks. Yeah, moss blocks. So I'm kind of curious if we can take some of this stuff before we head over. Just kind of like what we would do in all the mods 9 to the sky. So it's so beautiful that I don't want to take anything. Okay, so also you can see they gave us a watering can, tattered tome from Ars Nouveau, in my guidebook that may come in handy, and it looks like we have silent gear in here, which is great. Silent gear tools are probably some of the most OP tools you can use in the beginning. I do see some more barrels up there. However, I'm not sure if there's anything in there. Let's go ahead. Can I steal one of these? I can. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the command the skyblock GUI. And let's create our team. Okay. So we have to figure out what island we want, because they have quite a few. So they got this one, which looks actually really nice. Looks pretty solid as a starting base. Looks like you have a little tower. You got your main living quarters, and it looks like you have like a little greenhouse and some animal pens. So that's simple life. Here's the witch cottage. Which these builds are amazing. Very detailed, very well put together. So this one's witch cottage. You have the main building area. Looks like you got some sugar cane, a couple of trees. So that one looks pretty good. And of course, everybody's classic and favorite, the default skyblock island. The iconic L-shaped island with a singular tree. Looks like 3 layers of dirt. Well, actually 2 layers of dirt and 1 layer of grass. And then we got Sanguine Sanctuary, which, oh, that looks beautiful. It looks like there's a kind of like a sewage pipe almost, and a little waterfall looking with a cave underneath. That looks really nice. All right, and then you got Steve's Staycation. Looks like you got the RV camper. You got some trees and another, looks like a sewage pipe with water coming out. And if we wait for it to swing around a little bit, it looks like there's an underground cave almost. Very interesting. This one would probably be a lot of people's favorite. So let's see what else there is. I believe that was in the early release. That was pretty much it. And then, oh, there's a pig. Okay. Huh. This one looks interesting too. Okay. Not sure. Oh man, I don't know which one to pick. I kind of like the Sanguine Sanctuary. This one also has an underground cave system. Looks like there's some dripstone in there. But I also like the Steve's Staycation. Oh man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my phone, and I'm actually going to use a coin flip app. I know it's kind of funny, but I really don't know which one to pick, and I will leave this up to a choice of a coin flip. So let's go ahead. I believe we'll do Steve's Staycation as heads and Sanguine's as tails. So let's see what we get. And here we go. We are looking at tails. So Sanguine it is. All right. Perfect. And here we are. Wow, they put a lot of detail in this build. Okay. Interesting. Copper doors. Let's see. There's a roasted chicken. That's awesome. Okay. There's barrels and cabinets everywhere. Looks like we got some item frames, which should be good. Wow. And a seat. Awesome. Okay. So let's head out and let's take a look of the surroundings. Here's that pipe. Looks like we got some water, so that'll be an easy infinite water source that we could create from that. Looks like we got another barrel. Wow. We have a ton of barrels. And we got some terracotta. Very nice. We can make a sink pretty quickly once we get going on that. There's like terracotta everywhere. Also, do know that this mod pack has the Forgiving Void. Basically, what that means is if you accidentally fall into the void, you have a chance to kind of redeem yourself. And what I mean by that, and I'll kind of showcase that here, is that if you have water on your island, aim for that if you fall off. Because what will happen is you will fall and it will teleport you back to the top. And you want to try and aim for the water or you will end up, splatting onto the ground. I'm kind of in a loop here. Give me 1 second. Let me try and aim for the water here. Nope, missed. Ooh, okay. I somehow survived that. Not gonna lie. Anyway, let's look for that underground. Got some ladders. Got more barrels. Oh, found it. Wow, we got mud. And sea pickles. Oh. Oh no. Walking on mud does not sound pleasant. Okay. So let's take a look at the cave down below. Wow. There's a mushroom. We got some dripstone. More barrels, of course. This looks amazing. So much detail. What are these? Fire pits? Wow. Okay. So we'll have to do something down here for sure. So let's go ahead and let's go back to the top. It looks like there's a ladder that we could use to get up and down. I love the echo effect. There's a rug in my way. Okay, so that's just right there. That is good to know. Do we have a bed? Let's check upstairs. And there's I feel like I'm in gym class with this rope. Okay. A seat. So I don't see a bed, which is okay. Unless I'm missing something. Let's go back down. More storage. Wow. That looks like something that we don't have to worry about in this island is storage, because it's literally everywhere. Wow. Okay. So it doesn't look like we have a bed unless I'm missing something. Yep. Okay, that's not a problem. All right, so let's start this off with looking at the quest book. And before we begin, I need to make some changes here. So with FTB Ultimine, it's usually on the tilde key. I like to put it to one of my mouse's side button, just because it's right there and I'm already using the mouse and it's just easy that way. The next one is actually opening the quest book itself. I also like to bind this to the mouse button, and I think that's it for now until we get further into this. So here's the quest book. This is what we're looking at. Here's the welcoming quest. And also right here it says, if you have any questions or issues, feel free to join the ATM Discord. And I highly recommend joining their Discord. There's a ton of helpful people there. People asking questions and giving answers. And it's a great community they got going on there. You could easily join their Discord right here. This will give you either it will direct you to the Discord using a link, or it will give you the link to copy and paste. Super simple. This goes over, you know, if you're playing with friends, you could do FTP Teams Party Create. This will allow them to join and have the ability to join your island. And of course, the quests. Just as it says, mods are not gated behind completing any quests, so you could do your progression however you want. Ooh. Loud noises. Okay. So let's take a look at chapter 1, where it all begins. So getting started, of course, if you have played the original or any Skyblock ever, most of what you have to do should be self-explanatory up until the ATM medals. If not, don't fear. These quests are here to guide you through the start, and I completely agree. These quests are well defined in helping you progress and learn if this is your first Skyblock mod pack. It teaches you how to get your starting power, how to get the resources needed for the sieving, and it teaches you a little bit about storage and resource generation. So they put a lot of effort into this, and again, if this is your first time playing a Skyblock mod pack, I highly recommend following along using the quest book. Emergency saplings, which is good. You could always get one if you've experienced it before where you've had a tree that never gave you a sapling. You could always come here to the emergency saplings and check that. Also, if you guys want to kind of skip forward with the whole cobblestone generator or anything like that, you could check this quest and it will give you a lava bucket, ice, and stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to progress through this without the help. So let's go ahead and move some things around here. And I think, just like with every new world in Minecraft, let's punch a tree. Now, another thing that I love about this, let me go ahead and heal up a little bit, is they have twerking in this mod pack, which means you could toggle crouch to grow. And this also works for different aspects. So like seeds, you could grow seeds if you have like wheat or mystical agriculture or anything like that. You could crouch to quick grow. Very handy when you're in a skyblock and you don't want to wait for things to grow naturally, or if you don't have the bone meal to grow quickly. So let's go ahead and do this a couple more times because we are going to need a little decent amount of wood. Perfect. All right. So first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a crafting table. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that crafting table into a crafting table on a stick. What this will allow you to do is, instead of having to constantly place down a crafting table, craft, break it, and move on, you have crafting table on a stick where you could take this anywhere and craft anything that you can in a crafting table. The best thing about this is you could put this in a curio slot and you could bind it, which I don't have my bind set up. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So crafting on a stick, it's going to be this guy right here, which looks like it is bound. Whoops. Let me go ahead and double check. Okay, there it goes. It works. Perfect. Okay. So we got that taken care of. We got this. We need to make crook so that we could get some worms. This will help us get some worms to infect the tree which will ultimately get us string. And with string, we can make multitudes of things. We can make the mesh for our sieves. We can make wool and make our bed or a sleeping bag. The sleeping bag in this pack, if I could type, it doesn't look like it. Oh, okay. Hello. Ooh, black dye. Can you stay around for a little bit? I would love to get that black dye from you. In the meantime, let's grab these worms. So this is what you want to infect your tree leaves with. So let's go ahead and chop this logs down, plant another tree. And what I normally do is I like to place a couple of them on here. Kind of helps speed up the infection rate. And then what we'll do is just wait. Alright, and just like that, it looks like our tree is fully infested. So now what we want to do is we want to use the same crook and mine the trees. And you can see that actually gave us another silkworm, perfect, and also some string. So what we are going to do is make a string mesh, which is you'll just fill up the entire crafting table with the string. That will get us the string mesh. And also what I want to do is make a bed. Now I'm not going to sleep right away. However, I would just like to have a bed ready for when I no longer need the phantoms to be spawned. Because we can get early game flight really quickly with once we have a phantom membrane. We could create the potion of flight and put that into the pylons. And it will be the infusion pylon. So if we get the effect and we get one of these potion filters and we fill it completely with the potion of flight, it will become a potion filter that is unlimited. And then we put that filter into the infusion pylon and we will have flight anytime, anywhere that we want, as long as the area where the infusion pylon sits is chunk loaded. So that's something I definitely want to work towards. Let me go ahead and chop these down and then we'll get a couple of sieves going. Do I have... I don't. Let's get some more string. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so while that's going, what I'll do is I will get the starting... I think the starting sieve, I believe. Nope. Hold on. Sieve. How far off am I? Oh, it's 4. Gotcha. Okay. I was close. Let's go ahead and grab that. There we go. So now that we have a sieve and the string mesh, we can easily start sieving some things. So what we want to do, we need gravel. So what we need to do is we need to get cobblestone. Now the best thing to do is with an empty hand, and again, this is just to start out. Once you get the ability to make the block generator, get some cobblestone coming in, and get some of the stone hammers and stuff, you won't have to do this anymore. So with an empty hand and some grass, you're going to right click and this will give you these pellets. You could also use a macro if you have a keyboard that supports that to speed this up. However, I'm just going to do this normally because I don't think we need a lot to get to the point where we will start making cobblestone automatically. So this is just to get us to the point where we could get some resources and get what we need to start building this thing. All right, let's see what we got now. All right, so we got a stack of stone pebbles, which is good. Actually, we almost have a stack and a half, which is good. Now, for the stone pebbles, what you want to do is when you're in this screen, you could actually hover over and press K. What this will do is it will act as if you're doing this. Now, don't do that when you're with cobblestone in general, when you're in this screen. Because what that will do is it will turn it into... Actually, I don't think this will do it for this one. I think it only works for stone. It will turn it into stone bricks, and you don't want that. However, what you want to do is you want to compress it in this screen, and what that will do is it will act like if you're doing this. If you hover over this and you hit K, it will compress this cobblestone together. Just a little helpful tip. However, we're not going to have to do that very much, as we will be getting compressor drawers. So our stone or our cobblestone will already be compressed. Okay. So it looks like our tree is fully... I'm going to grab another crook. Perfect. Oh yeah. Let me go ahead and knock this down real quick too. Alright, so what do we need to do now? We need to get the hammer, which is going to be, looks like cobblestone and 2 sticks. Can you stop pushing me, good sir? I know you want me to buy things, but I am broke boy right now. What do you, are you the same person? Oh yeah, you are, okay. Yeah, just hang out. Don't move. Okay. Now that we have that, let's go ahead and compress the cobblestone. And what this will do is it will give us the compressed and the non-compressed because we had some extra. And what will happen is when you hammer this with the stone hammer, it will break it down into its next tier, which would be gravel. And if you do the same thing, nope, I lied. If you do the same thing with this stone hammer, nothing will happen. You will actually need to get the compressed stone hammer in order to hammer down compressed cobblestone. So let's go ahead and line this up real quick. Let's get some more gravel. Gravel will give us some good resources if we look here in JEI. And we go to the sieve. Off of a string mesh, you'll see it'll give us flint, coal. There's some chances to get some of these chunks, even lapis and amethyst. So right now what we're looking for is flint. And I think what I want to do is make a couple more of these. So that gave us 4. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, now that we have these sieves, what we can do is we could stand here and we don't have to do anything special, just pick it up right away. But you'll be able to use every single one of them to sieve your gravel, dirt, sand, dust, anything that you need to sieve. So let's take a look. Okay, so it looks like we have enough flint for 1 mesh, because I think it takes 4 flint for a mesh. Let me confirm that real quick. We go here and we do this. Yep. So that will give us a flint mesh. The flint mesh is actually pretty good to start with. It increases your chances of certain items, and then it will also allow us to get pointed dripstone. However, we are not needing pointed dripstone because we have a cave full of them below us. But this will give us an increased chance for more flint so that we can get the rest of these upgraded. So let me go ahead and do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some more stone or cobblestone, and I'll upgrade the rest of these to flint, and I'll bring you guys back once that's done. Alright, so after a little bit of sieving, I finally got all 5 of these upgraded to flint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a little more sieving so I could get some more resources. We do have a good amount coming in. As you can see here, we got 13 iron ore chunks, which if we compress that down will give us 3 iron ore. What I'll want to do is I want to set up a furnace. This will allow us to get at least a bucket. Once we get a bucket, then we can start moving into progressing a little bit quicker, especially with getting the stone block generator as the first level. So if we go to block generator, the first tier is the stone block generator. This will allow us to start getting into more resource generation, especially surrounding the, well, I should say mainly surrounding the different types of blocks there are that we could crush down and sieve for more resources. So if we come in here and we look, so we could do endstone, diorite, basalt, netherrack, obsidian, and the list goes on. There's about 7 pages here of things that we could have produced. Some of them more important than the others. So that's what I'm going to ultimately do, is get to that point. Once I get enough of the resources together to make the stone block generator, I'll go ahead and bring you guys back. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, and just like that, I now have the materials to make the stone block generator. I also made the porcelain crucible, got a bucket of lava, also have a bucket of water, as that's what is needed to make the stone block generator. So let's go ahead and get this going. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark that because we're going to probably make multiples of these. Now, just so you know, you get to keep the buckets. They will not be used, just the contents of the bucket. So let's go ahead and grab that. And then what we need to do is just make sure we keep feeding this because we'll need at least 1 more bucket of lava. And I think I should put this in a designated spot, but where should I put it? I think I could place it right here. I'll just get rid of these. Should really make an axe. You know what? I want to do that because that's taking too long. Let's make this an axe real quick. Alright. Then what I'm going to do is kind of clean this up and put some stone down, just so we're not accidentally catching anything on fire. And I think for this, I'm going to use probably some deep slate. Perfect. And then I'll make some slabs. I'm going to put one there, put one there, there, and there. That should work. Let's find out. Put that right there. Let's get some water. We could definitely test with a bucket of water. And we waterlog that. Looks good. Okay, this is almost done. We just need a little bit more. Alright. And then instead of just going with the standard drawer, I went with a simple compacting drawer. Just so that we could pull out the stone in a compressed manner instead of having to pull out the stone and then compress it and then break it down. We could just pull out the compressed stone and go from there. It'll make things a little bit easier. Matter of fact, I think I could cue this up now. There we go. Yeah, so you'll have the regular stone on the bottom, and then you'll have the compressed stone here at the top. This is the one that we're really wanting, because we can use the compressed stone hammer to break them down, and we get resources a lot quicker. And this is almost there. Put the charcoal in there. I'll put this stuff up here. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a superheating element. All this really requires is just 4 steel, and I think we can make steel fairly easy. Let me just double check here. So if we get the steel dust, yeah, so it still uses the same, so 4 coal and 1 iron dust with a ore hammer, you can make steel dust. The iron's fairly easy to get, especially now that we have the stone block generator. Once we get that going, we'll be able to get iron a lot quicker. Okay, that's almost done. And then once I get that superheating element, I mean, this thing is bonkers. 60 time heating source for the crucible. And I think lava is 4 times? 3 times, sorry. Lava's 3 times. That's insane. So with how easy the superheated element is, I'm going to go with that. And that will be super beneficial when it comes to producing lava for like the magmator. You know, to produce some power, it'll be able to keep up. All right, let's see if we could. Nope. Okay, so we can't do that. Go ahead and break this real quick. Does it not like that water? There it goes. So I guess you have to kind of keep it higher than normal. Can't waterlog anything. That's kind of weird. There we go. And now we got some cobblestone coming in fairly quick. These things are awesome, especially when you tier them up. It's so quick on how it produces these stones. So that will be good. That will get us quicker into the resource gathering. And it will help us progress a lot faster. And so if we go ahead and look back here at chapter 1's quest, to finish this out, we'll need to tier this up to at least emerald or diamond. We'll see how that goes. This is going to be our goal for starting off power, is the magmatic generator. Or, actually, no, that's not bad. Hold on. Rate is 160 FE per tick. Transfers 2000. Max energy. Let me look at the other ones real quick. Generators. Okay. How's the thermo generators? Let's see. Ooh, so that produces 20 FE per tick. Well, that's a starter. So basic is 60. 100. So in order to kind of match the magmatic generator, we would have to get at least blazing tier. So that's not super good. Let's see, what else do they got? Are the power reactors in here? Oh, they are. Okay. So a starter reactor is 250 FE per tick. That's not bad. Basic and hardened. So 1,000 or 2,500. Okay. 100,000 FE per tick for the spirited. 500,000 for the nitro. Okay, that's not bad. What else is there? I thought there was a magmator. Oh, there is. Magmator. So starter is 20, then 80. Okay, so the harden is better than the magmatic. And harden's easy to do. That's just gold and iron. We would just need to at least have the starting power to be able to do that, because we would have to get the energizing rods and the energizing orb, and then the power to energize the metals into from iron to gold to the energetic. So I think our best bet's just to stick with the magmatic, which honestly isn't bad. Oh, do we get, come on, been waiting for you guys. I wish I had better weapons. Oh, and we got a phantom membrane. That is what we wanted. So once we kill this last one, we could actually just now sleep. And what this will do is it'll open up flying for us, like I mentioned earlier. We could get the potion of flight and put into a infusing pylon and be able to fly around. Sweet. So that is an awesome find. I'm happy for that one. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab some of this. Another one? Oh, okay. I'm going inside to sleep. I don't need these guys anymore. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't want to have to keep dealing with the phantoms. They should be on fire now, and they are. Perfect. I am not worried. I need to get more sieves. Sieves? Sieves or sieves? I think it's sieves. I need to get some more sieves. At least 3 more, so we could have a nice 8. Can you guys get out of my way? It'll just make things a lot quicker and more even, especially when you're dealing with stacks. Everything will be broken down extremely nicely. Yeah. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off sieving all this gravel, and I will bring you guys back, and we'll see where we're at that point. See you guys in a second. Alright, and I think that's going to do it for today's episode. We actually got a lot done for the first episode. We got the crucible going for the lava. We have the stone block generator over there producing the cobblestone. What I'm going to do in between episodes is I'm going to farm a little bit more resources, make sure we have the rest of the sieves, and next episode, I think what we will do is we'll work on getting a storage system going. We'll get power going, and we will probably get the flight going, because I want to try and get that as fast as possible. There's some mods that we can use that will kind of open the path up to getting the flight, you know, getting the blaze rods and everything that we need for the brewing stand, making sure that we get the ingredients for the potion of flight, and then of course we got to work on getting the pylon and the filter card. so that we could actually get the flight potion to the point where we could have it unlimited. But for now, thank you guys so much for joining me on this first episode of All the Mods 10 to the Sky, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.